Thank you. The radiation has now ended. If you would like to stay, now will be a time when I'll go into the reading, another part of the second part of this particular share. Hello there, I'm Coyote, your Syrian Star Emissary. How are you tonight? Here it is 7:50 in the East Coast. And what I just sent out was a radiation for your knowing. And this was in support of so much that we might take for granted, really. In support when we say to each other, or someone friendly in conversation with, or well-meaning, okay, you never know. You never know. That's going to be a pretty often catchphrase. And I want to invite you that you do know. You just have to decide. You do know you're powered by the stars. You do know you can activate that power within. You do know your divine entity having a human experience at this time, whatever that experience is. And while it feels so real and tangible, great or yucky, invincible or devastating, it is your experience to do your best to be with it, feel fear or feel its joy, have it be in you and then through you, especially the fear, and to rise above, because solution exists always in our every next step. But when we're in panic, paranoia, distressed, depression, sadness, in that feeling of feeling lost, that's not a good time when to make a decision. It is a good time to feel those feelings and do your best to have them be in a place where they are slowly have left and gone, or left and put to the side, so that you can allow solution to enter your field and into your heart, into your mindset, which goes to your heart. And so that radiation, that alignment can invite that next step, and also the person, places, beings, opportunities, serendipitous events that are going to lead you out of and through that particular event which bothers you, or that particular event which is extremely uplifting, and yet there are some next steps needed in magic miracle manifestation. Now this might all sound like wishy-washy, stupid stuff. I get it, but when you feel really sad. But it's meant to actually be super supportive, and if you were in alignment to your growth, to possibility, to being open, this channel will make sense, or start to make sense to you, and offer some solutions and some suggestive advice. And will also offer immediate miracle as well, because I was downloaded with radiation formulas and frequencies that are meant to exponentially enter your field and be there for your highest destiny. This is Ellen, who likes to help me out a lot. Jackie is around somewhere too, but Ellen likes to help me out a lot. I have two cards that were pulled previously as I started to advertise for this event, tonight's talk on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. And Katie's looking out the window, so her tail is right here. I don't think she can get over there. But and we're going to start to share cards with you. This may go back and forth, so we can play with the cards. And Ellen hopefully will find her way. She'll find something of mine to pick on, I'm sure. Come here, kitty. Come here, Doodoo. There you go. There you go. So she may interrupt us a little bit. So I will be introducing those cards, and I will be also offering probably another card set to complement. If I'm guided, I'm going to be using numbers tonight because I feel numbers are important, and also colors also are important. There were two crystals that I showcased for the most part in the advertisement prior, and but also feels what correct to share with you. So I'm going to get them forward. Actually, really kind of three, but you only need one. No. Oh, kitty, you gotta move, honey. Miss Ellen, come over here. Come on, you can do it. Go, go. Go, please. Up. No. Ellen, you're famous. Go down. So I have two types. This is the one that was in my video. So this is an Azeztulite. And I call them raw Azeztulite. This is like a crystallized, almost druzy Azeztulite. But they've both not been polished. They're both in raw forms. Okay, kitty went out the door. If that becomes too disturbing, I'm going to kind of close it a little bit. So the Azeztulite is a very high frequency stone. It's for interdimensional communication. That means to angelics and galactics. It's a very overall, it's like quartz crystal, like I'm wearing now, but it's sort of like a granddaddy, but it is part of the quartz crystal family, absolutely. But it's been noted as a crystal of, high frequency, high divinity, calling upon angels to help you with communication. A great protector. Crystals are great. Crystals are in our now. They're in our computers. They're in all of our medical equipment. They're in our cars. They're in our brain. I've mentioned before, in our bodies. They're in the earth. They're in the stars. Crystal is going to be a way that we will barter, that we will take care of our properties and one another, our health. They'll also be they're communication stones, communication minerals to us. They're for health, they're for wisdom, they're for fun, they're for listening to, and for barter, for money, for transportation. They're going to help us with technologies, and they are a part of technologies that we have not been told about. These are amazing, and there's many, many crystals that are here as our friends, truly here as our friends and guides. And this is an Amethyst Druzy. It may even be considered agate Druzy, but there's also this quartz or smoky quartz here. But I believe when I bought this is amethyst, amethyst because of its color. And amethyst is, I'm going to get that door, just sorry, one moment. Thank you for that interruption. I appreciate you. So when you have pets, know how to open doors or press upon doors. They don't know how to shut them completely, but know how to open them. So the amethyst, of course, is a very also high frequency spiritual stone. It was always thought of as a protective stone or stone that helps you with sobriety, but it's also in a lot of ancient breastplates, nobility, or going to war. It's an overall protective and healing stone or crystal. And these are just the crystals that called to me. And then also to bring out, I have, quite a many pieces of rose quartz, but I have a rose quartz heart here, so I have those by my cards. Um, the Azeztulite is connected to the heart chakra in terms of chakras, the third eye chakra and crown chakra because of their interdimensional and high frequency communication assistance. But also, I think of an amethyst as being quite angelic in connection to higher vibrational forces. And it's not that they all aren't. Each crystal has, they sort of all to me are always interconnected because they're to help us vibrate higher. They're there for support. They're there for clarity, clairvoyance. They are clear to help us with next steps or attract in, whether it's riches, serendipitous events, what could be good luck, but it's really a manifestation of ease and ongoing initiation of ongoing prosperity. They all have during this particular share. So I wanted to mention those. And I guess I won't keep them too far from me. I often talk about us being, galactic humans because I do not believe we evolved here on Earth from apes. And even though when I was younger, that is what they wanted us to believe, a lot. But I don't feel that that's complete truth. We have a lot in terms of epigenetics and spiritual epigenetics and connected to other beings from higher dimensions who are our future selves, who are our intergalactic and angelic spiritual families. So my tea tonight is in a joy cup, kind of Christmassy. But I did choose to use chamomile tea with some honey and lemon, and I really need a sip, so I'm going to take that right now. Mm. It's really good. Not as warm as I'd like it to be, but it's not cold either. It almost as cold would make a great lemonade. Thank you for this indulgence. I have a lady I admire on YouTube. Her name is Emily Lunataro, and she always talks about tea and cozy, being cozy. But I have a tea, so I'm usually thirsty by now, and it helps with my voice. Okay, one more time. I'll just get up, and then I want to get into the cards. This particular card support. You're gonna have to stop. Either come in or go out. Understand? It's just gonna be that way. The pets are great. They just like to interrupt, and sometimes it doesn't feel very cool because I'd like to be just more present until I found a time that we can just do this where the door is open, or like in the morning time, they're probably fully asleep, and if they get up, they kind of nap a bit during the day. Okay, so Ellen is going to just wander, I think, and hopefully you'll find that intriguing rather than bothersome. So right now I'm going to just focus on this particular deck. So when I started to mention, I started to mention that the particular phrase of, well, you never know. Well, you never know. It can come out in all different tones. And usually, now, by my observance, it usually comes what seems like support to bridge you to something wonderful. And sometimes it comes out to support because people are going through stuff. Sometimes it's meant there as an affirmation to cheer you on. But the vibration that I usually feel stop. Stop. The vibration I usually feel from no. Thank you. The vibration that I usually feel from it is there's still doubt connected to that. So what I want to truly impart to you is that you do know, I do know. And there are some things we're not supposed to know completely just yet because more is being revealed. But for those of you who say you have faith and you believe in God, and I do mean the God of goodness and grace of the highest frequency of love, because you have to understand that the God word can also refer to demonology. And that is what we're not visiting at this moment in terms of protection or whatever. But a lot of people don't realize that. So what I'm going to say is a lot of people do doubt. They don't even trust what they say they have faith in. They don't. And they're wonderful people, all all varying levels of their faith or their supposed faith, and they don't trust. They don't trust deeply because what happens is they're so feeling, as we are, they're so feeling, they listen to the propaganda that's perhaps out there or on papers or gossip or whatever. And in their goodness of wanting to be supportive, and we have exchanges of conversation, what happens is when we repeat too much of that or speak of it too long, then we start to not disintegrate, but our power starts to get kind of, think of, when you have a lovely piece of fabric or some clothing, or maybe you have a dog leash, but sometimes the fabric starts to fray, starts to pull. A piece of clothing you like, but you don't, kind of even like jeans, jeans that have holes in them, they're made with those man-made frays. Our power starts to fray. It's not that it's not there, it is, but you're diluting it, you're disintegrating it. And that's what evil has wanted us to do, is to not recognize our full centered power. So I am going to catch you, I'm going to catch myself, I'm going to catch you when you say, well, you never know, let's do it, you never know. No, decide. Even for myself, we must decide, we must be certain, because you can always change your mind. Let it be like, I'm going to go down that road because I haven't gone there and that feels like a new thing to do. Let me go. Yeah. Okay. That's true. You never know. But I know that that's my choice. I know that I feel good about that choice. I know that I'm open to whatever happens on that choice. I know. You are built. You are built in terms of an energy being. You are built to feel. Now, here's where it catches us up. You are built to feel. However, humans have taught that they must share their emotion and support. They must cry with you. They must hug you and have tears over despair and despondency. No, no. You feel your feelings, and your feelings are an indicator of where you are vibrationally. If you're a little lower and you're starting to go low and down in the trenches, or if you are hovering in center, or if you are hovering higher, because down here, mid place and lower, you're letting go of your power. And that is overall not the best vibrational place to hover in and create from, to be supported from, or support others, because you're both weak. You're weak links in the chain of strength. So I did a radiation for your knowing, to support your knowing and support you so that that you just lean toward, that you clear up any blocks, that you didn't use the word blocks, but that you really are supported in that clarity. And even more than that, as I was saying a holy mantra, I was doing lots of affirmation about your power, and that you are clear, and that you are uplifted, and you are absolutely guided into that radiation, and that you feel it, and it will exponentially not only radiate out from me on 150 miles, for example, but also radiate out from those who see this and did the radiation, and that will radiate out wherever you are 150 miles. Now, it could be more, but I just use that as a very solid base to start with. Okay. The other thing, what did I want to mention about that you don't know? Oh, that those of you going through that, which I sort of incorporated, the paranoia, the disdain, the confusion, despondency, the frustration, madness, blame. It was for you to feel extremely uplifted in a calm place, to see solution, to be receptive to solution. Maybe I even just said that. I was saying so much internally that I'm concerned about repeating myself, but then again, you can just skip over, or perhaps hearing it repetitively will it be ingrained in you as a support. But this was and because there are events that other TikTokers talk about, for example, whether it's certain seemingly natural disasters or disasters in other parts of the world or in the US that seem very heinous and kind of dumbass. Like, why would people make those decisions around decisions to protect people? Let me just say, in this part, you can research. Let me just say, if you go back even to the 1960s, but you could go back a little further, especially when television started to come to light. You can look up programs such as The Twilight Zone, The Night Stalker, The Night Gallery. There are movies like In Close Encounters of the Third Kind, many, The Butterfly Effect, um, just many movies where in scenario, in a script, in characterization, there are people that are said that are told, oh, don't do this because it's dangerous to go there, wear this mask, or we're going to take you to safety. So even though you were headed there, no, you don't want to go there because there's radiation and blah, blah, blah. And what happens is characters escape and they really felt so called to go explore no matter what, no matter, and they just felt like, no, there's something else going on. We're not going to do, let's get away. And then you see like a helicopter in Close Encounters of the Third Kind spraying something so that anybody who might have been searching on their own for the truth, they fall asleep. Looks like, oh my God, are they killing them? They fall asleep, right? A long time ago, there were dismembered cattle, pieces of cattle's in a particular state found dead, and the government wanted to blame it on extraterrestrial malviolent. And I don't believe that. I believe this was planted. I believe that either the story was planted anyway, or that it was our own government. I don't believe it was at all, malviolent entities, because the malviolent entities don't want to leave a trace. Psychopaths don't want to really leave a trace. Even though they want you to fear, they don't want a story to come out that might look like they're in trouble. They're going to point it back to goodly, godly, of the good people thing. They're going to point it back. It's kind of like if Johnny and Sally have a fight, and Sally really hit Johnny and pinched him and pulled him. But when Johnny reports to mom or dad or who's ever in charge, hey, my cousin, my sister, she's hurting me and it hurts tonight. That's why I hit her because she was. Oh no, I didn't," says Sally. "Oh, see, I'm a girl. I'm so innocent." It's a story, so you've got to really pay attention because in some of these stories on TV, they are true and some are not mostly true. Pay attention to the languaging and follow the trail backwards. But again, in this radiation, it is for your support, your power. You are powerful. You have so much power in your finger. Your word is your wand. You may not even realize it. There's so many also other teachers on YouTube. But you can go back to the old of ancients. You can go listen to Louise Hay of the 70s. She was considered a pioneer in affirmation and what affirmations to say in connection to your physical health. She was one of them. Go listen to an audio tape of Genevieve Berhand's your your invisible powers or your invisible power. It's an audio book. Different people read it, pick the voice that sounds the best to you, just fall asleep to that or listen to that as you drive along. These are not only all suggestions, people have lived through this. Louise Hay has lived through things. You can go listen to old Carolyn May. She has some very good value in terms of what she teaches about health and emotional traumas and situations that get stuck in our body and manifest outward as disease. And then there's medical intuitives. There's so many, and even on YouTube, that Jake Ducey is someone who's newer and he's very relatable in his youth, in his example. There are some really wonderful examples he gives, but he brings up old timer information as well. Um, and what's the other guy's name? Brian Scott. Brian Scott has he's newer, but he has a whole bunch of book passages that he reads. But these are all here to remind you that you know you got it and this radiation was sent purposely that if you sit in front of this radiation, I promise you will feel a goodness, gladness, and cheer. I promise you, you will feel not so paranoid. You will feel not so distressed. I promise you. And report back to me because I could feel the energy coming through to you. Okay, so let's dive into the cards right here. So I think the first one actually that really came up was um, accept the opportunity that is offered. And literally, I was offering you an opportunity tonight, and the opportunity that has come through me. Not only is this beneficial to me to return me to my original blueprint, it's for you to return to your original blueprint in knowing. And then that steadfast certainty and that support to feel clear and calm and moved into, you don't see the entities necessarily. Sometimes you might, they may come forward as butterfly, as cat, as dog. They may come forward as angel. You may see them, feel them. I could feel more angelic. I could feel more angelic entity in the room. I thought I might have some elementals like little orbs, but I didn't see any particular orbs. I will say that the lights in back of me here that I'm pointing to, they are white. I don't know why they're coming out colored tonight, but they're coming out colored, so that's pretty awesome. But anyway, I felt a lot of angel presence. I felt a lot of angel presence figure type in my hand. And also like almost images that are from these particular from my cards and another deck too, a tarot deck. I'd have to like really look through them, but there was just some that seemed to mimic a lot of voice, like a lot of blue color, a lot of white color, high purity colors. So, so accept the opportunity, which is 19. So you've got a one anyway, which is about knowing thyself. The universe has you. Um, and I just want to go through my numbers with you. Straight like an arrow, individual self discovery, which is really what this is all about anyway. The power within. I always talk about activating the power within. 9 is about sharing your special abilities and skills with the world. So that if you desire to paint or get back into art or be artist singer, if you decide to maybe go to school, check out the schools. Please do not comply to their, you know, things in the arm or any medications and shit. You don't really need to do that. I would wait till the time goes by, hold on to your dollars, explore the world, because we're coming into the place on this planet that while it seems good to have your titles, it's you recreating you and designing a life that you like, the life that fills you. Did Jesus Christ have a diploma? Tell me what temple he had a diploma from. Or when he went to study in the Middle East, tell me what temple. Tell me what credentials that anybody could have read. What did he show? Did he show you a lambskin? Did he show you like I went to a class, I got this thing, so it's all there. I'm going to show you the list before I go into my uh, deliberation with you. No, people felt his goodness, gladness, cheer, his energy, powerful, centered self. And I bet Edgar Casey, he didn't go study clairvoyance somewhere, you know. Louise Hay may have taken some classes, but when she started putting her thoughts together, there was nobody really. She wrote the book on the affirmations and the connection to the body and to help release and bring comfort. Plato, um, Socrates, but think of all these ancient names. Thoreau, Thoreau didn't want to be any part of the establishment. Um, Voltaire, so many people. Wallace Wattles, he writes more sort of Christian Bible centered, or Catherine Ponder, or Florence Scovel Shinn. These people write affirmation and power from the ability of some Bible interpretation, but they present it to you in a powerful way. Not that you're less than God, that you are co created with God, because God is in you. The God being of goodness, gladness, cheer, the Father, Mother, God, the prime creator, is within you. Just like Yoda and Obi-Wan would say to Luke Skywalker, use the Force, Luke. Use the Force. That's what you are. Use the Force. Use your powers for good. All right, so here's the card. We're going on 42 minutes, guys. Just try to be patient with me. Let me see if you can see that. Right? Accept the opportunity that is offered, which is this radiation. So in it, you see a young man. Could call him a Knights Templar or a knight or an adventurer, a virtuous. In the background there, that tall, um, it's like just a symbol or a mountain, but that is called the THOR, where in there and underneath there is thought to be the passageway to, I believe, worlds within other worlds within the earth, as well as a portal too, and that the Holy Grail was hidden there. But as this knight youth steps in through the door to embrace the opportunity, to embrace what he may find, not because, oh, you never know, he has been guided, and in certainty, faith, trust, nobility, gladness, virtue, purity of heart, he is going to take on a challenge or an adventure by the woman who is spirit. Maybe she could be priestess, goddess of the place. Also opposites, female goddess self, saying, this is an opportunity, you can deny it, but why don't you move forward? And it's not that you never know, that you know in it is some seeds that are going to help you discover, reclaim, be rebirthed, help others, help yourself, find your original blueprint, know, have a remembrance of your power. And also within number 9 is to stop letting others who just want to hear you, you have good friends, good family, they'd like to hear you talk, but then not to spend as much time when they really don't want help to be uplifted or be rescued in a sense, or they're just kind of hanger-oners. Because when you have purpose with your life, you want to give to people with your heart, but to be in groups that are committed, or people that are committed to wanting endeavor to get to a next step, to ascend, to have a journey forward and not linger in the past with old story. That would be a better way of saying it. The second card that came up with it, and I am going to add these two cards together for numbers. Oh, also notice this is mostly in where I'm sitting with lots of blue, lots of voice, lots of throat chakra energy, lots of blue. There's also bits of red in here, or copper, which is grounding the higher, noble, virtuous, to taking those steps forward in physicality. So putting together the spirit with the flesh and moving forward in that trust, in that adventurous, like, I'm going to move forward. I know there is an opportunity here. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to judge that. I'm going to stay out of ego. I'm going to be in my heart. There's a lot of white here, so purity, just higher realms, higher God self. And this could even be, and I'd have to read about it, it could even be part of the chalice, the Holy Grail. So, and the picture in the background too is a place in Glastonbury. So very, very holy place in Ireland. All right, so the second card that came up to complement helping you with knowing that you got this, you know it. You don't have to, just in case, know it. You can, oh gosh, what did I want to say? Just that it's not that you never know, you know. So the other card that comes up to support this is confront your opposite polarity. And so this is an opportunity that I'm seeing when you make fear your friend, when you see where you could advance in a different way. You could advance in a different way to, check out how you say things, how you think things, rethink something. If you want to rewire yourself, we have to start talking to ourselves a different way. If you want to be a new, improved you, if you want to present yourself differently to the world, all it is, you have to make a decision. And then you start to present differently to the world. And anyone that tries to hold you back, you have to just assess in your knowing that, no, I'm not. Thank you. And you have to take on that power. You have to take on that practice of responsibility. You have to take that opportunity and move forward and leave them behind. And if they want to run and catch up because they truly see something that, wow, I'd like to be like that too. Well, that's one thing. But if they're going to drag you back to old story, you don't need it. I got I got someone in my life. I don't think she's going to come back briefly in my life because she's an old story, and I do not will not be available for people. In other words, we all have challenges, and we do want to change, and we do want assistance from people who are more comfortable in their skin with their life, with reading cards or crystals, or I just happen to have a sense of the world and the brightness of that. Great, that's great to be around. That's for me too. But if you have someone repeating an old story over and over again, and that even if it seems like they're moving forward, but they always go back and it's a very strong old story, then this is a person that you may have to let go until they truly have an epiphany and they have shifted. Because this ascension time, this renewal time, this rebirth time, this time on the planet where all this junk is coming up for us to examine, observe, and transmute, this is for us to really embrace our powers and to not take any more bullshit from any government, from any person, from any job, from any parent or lover or friend or stranger. And sometimes we catch ourselves in hindsight learning, okay, but if that's ourselves in hindsight learning, okay, but if that really helped you learn, you got it, and it will not happen again ever that way. And if we can change, if we can harness that wisdom of that moment, it's not you're going to say, wait a minute, I have to, wait a minute, before I go through the door with you, wait a minute. The opportunity may be going through the door or saying, now that we've gotten here, I need to assess and I need a moment. Oh, you're already late. You're not going to go, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? If that person gives you a hard time, it's a good feeling indicator. Feel how you feel. It's a good show of, you know what? I'm going to do this differently. No, bye. And they can be upset with you. Let them. And you may sort of wobble in doubt, but you feel that feeling of strength to step away, step away. Sometimes we learn this in hindsight. I'm telling you from personal experience and sharing that with you to be vulnerable, because when you have a leader teacher who is willing to be very vulnerable with you, but also take no bullshit, but also say, I've lived so much of life and I'm going to live more of life, but I'm not going to share with you what I can't resolve an example or know for sure. I will support you absolutely from the divine and divine intentions and from the energetic frequency powers. I will not support you in old story in any fucked upness. You have got in our expansion to claim accountability, mourn it, thank it, let it go, embrace it as a learning tool, a friend, and then let it pass through you and beyond you because you are present and you are powerful. So confront your opposite polarity. So a lot of fire energy, a lot of root energy, being grounded. Fire energy is very female energy. Blue energy, we would say, but fire. Well, actually, fire energy is it with female? Let me think. I think that this is root energy, but also it can be male energy. You facing your own male energy. I think there's some room for it thinking fire energy is male and blue energy is female, a higher intuit knowing. It'll be interesting to see that particular story going on. Are we taught blue is for boys and pink is for girls? Or is red, pink kind of masculine, Mercury, and blue, ethereal, angelic? Even though angels don't really have a sex per se, they may translate eyesight in our desire to be relatable with them. But blue may be more female, more expressive. So it's going to be interesting about that. But here you have a hawk and a deer or elk, and that would be interesting to find out about that. There's also, yeah, this is also about the earth energy, grounding with earth energy and heart. So kind of making opposite your friend because you've got the tree stump here, which I love trees. You know I love trees. This has the tree symbol on it, if you can see it there. the branches and the branches of the leaves that slay, and then the roots are down at the bottom. Okay, let me do this. So 15 is also 6, which is rid your life of negative energies. Yeah, rid your life of negative energies. Love you, like you. Take accountability for your showing up. Be part of your mastery. You showing up is key to your mastery, right? You can do anything you can accomplish. Connect to your guides. I'm going to read number 16 because I feel like it's very powerful here. So, whether within yourself or outside, there's always a part of ourselves to challenge and harmonize. Clear your issues with a partner or friend. And this is this particular image is taken from an area, a moorland called Dartmoor. And there's a primeval oak forest. It has gnarly ancient trees. And there's a sacred grove of the Druids. And while there's debate over this particular meaning, some would say that this particular wood, these particular old ancient trees, means wise man, and others say it means whist, meaning pixie lead, right? Fairies. In this painting, the fairy woman wanders, she's whole and complete. The falcon represents her psychic or higher self. And then suddenly a stag appears, a challenge. Will she have the skills needed to harmonize the situation? So this also could be if you're in the midst of disasters. Right now we're watching some, let's say, disasters. They're called as natural, they're called as the other people causing, they're called as we don't know where they came from. But she is calm, she is knowing she has a beloved symbolic falcon that also is kind of her companion to protection. You have your companion protection in angels and fairies and galactics. And for those of you who are more Christian based, your sacred saints, iconic masters. You know, not only Yeshua ben Yosef, but you've got Lord Maitreya, Lord Buddha. You've got goddess, I call that goddess Mary Magdalene, or Lakshmi, or Kuan Yin, Violet Flame, Violet Tara, and some of you have all the dragon energy. You've got helpers. You must command them in, call them in, command. Don't be afraid to use the word command. Command them in. I want to add these two numbers together. So it's very interesting anyway, because you have got duality of two cards. Number 2, duality, a lot of female and male, and yet there's a lot of female coming forward at this time, the time of the goddess, the time of the planetary renewal. You also have more the lower chakra connected to the heart, staying centered to the heart and wisdom. The colors, the brown, the reds, the oranges, the lower chakras. To get a very wise woman. Sometimes I think I want to dye my hair red instead of keeping it gray. And then you've got the ethereal, the wisdom of the expressive third eye and heart. The throat, and connected to the crown chakra and all that's above, in sort of an angelic, ethereal sense. Okay, so 2 cards. But we have a 19, and one is 10, and 1 and 5 is 6. So let's just add together, and let's see what we come up with for a total of this particular introductory meeting. Oh, so 1 and 6 is 7. Prepare for your spiritual awakening. I don't know if we need to go any farther. I might pick one more card as a capper. But these numbers and these colors are really very indicative about that radiation to that, and that the expression that is often expressed, again, too often be supportive in some way. Often it has a lower vibration to it, to one, either confuse you on television about stepping into the new, because you never know. It's a dualistic thing. You could take it as embrace the new because you never know, But you do know. You do know. You made a decision to embrace the adventure, the new. You do know you're embracing the adventure within, and you're open to great possibilities. So it's not that you don't know, you do know you've made a decision. And when other people are like, well, you don't know, you never know, that's very wobbly. It means to be supportive, but it's very wobbly. Be decisive. It's okay to be in a human body and be decisive, be knowing, be godlike, be powerful, be fun, be graceful and gracious. But take no bullshit. Love is not a doormat. Ever. Only we've learned that. Love is not a doormat. Ever. Ever. Okay. So I'm going to pick a card from my other deck by the same artist. I'm going to want a card to end this evening about our, just as a cap of that, and that you know, and that the radiation is working for you, and that you must allow yourself, must permit yourself, must embrace your power, and that you don't have to be wishy-washy. It's okay. The time is over. The time is over. Just make a decision. Whatever decision you make is going to be fine, because if you don't like that, you can change it. But you know if you really want to buy that car, or are you putting blocks in the way? No pros and cons. Just, does it feel right to move forward despite experiences? Does it feel right to trust what's on television? Or is it like, it's pretty questionable, yes, even though it looks like disaster, and good wishes to everyone? Is it what? Like I said, there are plenty of scripts to check out. And pretty questionable, yes, even though it looks like disaster, and good wishes to everyone. Is it what? Like I said, there are plenty of scripts to check out. And often it's, again, just to divide, and mostly within yourselves and each person. It's meant to lower your frequency and forget who you are. And the radiation tonight was about, and this radiation was about supporting that, not a challenge, and not this offer of opportunity to be and to know, to stand in certainty, in your grace, and your graciousness, and your fun, and your power, and your wisdom unfolding, your talents unfolding, to be. So let there be a card that kind of jumps out that will help us put a capper on this meeting, on this suggestion, on this radiation. We keep this? Okay. So what do you want? What do you want to do? Keep this, keep this, keep this, keep this, keep this. No? We keeping? What are we keeping? Which one? What are we keeping? Which card? We'll put a capper on tonight's experience. Okay. This is a card. And now I'm going to interpret it. This card puts on the capper. Okay. You hold in your heart a space to be filled. Well, that would make some sense, in the sense of, we haven't understood, number one, the heart is the most powerful organ in our body. It is 100 times, at this time, and there may be more evidence of a higher number, higher, not lower, higher number. Your heart is 100 times more electric. Your heart is 100 times more electric than the brain. And your heart is 5,000 times more magnetic than 5,000 times more magnetic than the brain. It is the organ of manifestation. It is the organ of desire that draws in that purpose that you really desire to have unfold, be, experience. And in this particular picture, the lady is just emerging from her. She was sequestered away, hidden away in a cave for whatever reason. She was like a bear, coming out. And the cave is more, I think, and also part of the woods, but it's called empty nest. You hold in your heart a space to be filled. So ladies that have been keeping themselves hidden away, or their homes seem empty, it's time to go out. It's time for the goddess to be fully expressed. There's also lots of, lower chakra energy here in terms of, to me, it looks like trees more than cave, and some forest greenery. Not much because it's very dark, right? But you see how even her skin is kind of that pinky color, and her outfits also kind of a pinky. So again, grounded, the energy of the lower chakra, the grounding chakra. She has a cup to be filled. She's full. She's fully bosom. She has a lot she could offer. Um, she's endowed with skills, endowed physically. It is a number 8, the infinity symbol, the prosperity symbol. Um, it almost has that effect of like the I always say this, and I can't say it right away. The In science, the physics, almost like the physics symbol, that the continuum type of arcing, almost even like intertwining DNA strands. Read what the artist had to say about this. So let's see. We have, so I want to go through the numbers again too, but I'm going to do this one thing. Okay. There is no empty space in the universe. Try thinking in this way and see what manifests in your life. Sadness and loss are temporary conditions. So even in like these perhaps disasters, where there is loss, where there is sadness, where there is destruction, remember, this is a time of all systems being exposed and destroyed. So there can be a rebuild. And in this rebuild, it's got to be different. It can't be you can't use templates from before, because it's how we got in that mess. We have to become rise as galactic humans. We can't use the same template because it got us into trouble. We can't pick the same style of leaders. We can't have all the same kind of way we've done leadership. Like, oh, you have a degree in just law, or you have a degree and you've gone to that school, because a lot of those places have been infiltrated. And I'm not saying there aren't some brilliant minds. In our day, we have people like Ben Shapiro, and we have Candace Owens, and you may know of others that are completely like, they're going to speak constitutional truths. They're going to have people look at languaging, and they're going to go through history, and they're going to connect dots between who led what and who was connected to who, why were they were leading what. That's a very big learning. It takes some homework, and you've got to also then go with your heart, that gut feeling, not what you were told, not from the land of obey. You've got to be extremely open, and that's why you do know. You may not really want to know because it can be disturbing, but to know brings you power. It brings you a groundedness. It brings you full accountability, which some humans really have a trouble with that. They want to still blame. But blaming, while justified, is not going to bring the solution. It's just going to be a repeat of old history, and we don't need that. We need to step into the new completely. So I just want to see a little bit about this particular card, because I know. Okay. We live in an abundant multiverse. This forest that this woman emerges from is alive on every level. This is a nurturing woman. Her senses are stirring to life. She's coming out of her hibernation. The beauty of the tree is encouraging her to leave stifling emotions behind, right? Because to creating from sadness, will create by default and on purpose more of sadness. So we have to be with those feelings. There's nothing you can do about that right now. But what you can do is take care of those feelings, then to rise up and create from that place of joy, bliss, and what you really would intend, what you really want to feel into the world. So there are some eyes, and I don't see them right now, perhaps because of the darkness of my space, but there are eyes from mushrooms in this painting, and they represent the consciousness of all things. Like, in other words, fungus is different colors. Oh, and fungus in this particular example, those mushrooms, they used to cure cancer. Hmm. Hmm. So we're not really alone in the forest. And so I guess it's hard to see, but there's a plant, and I think it's up here, which is talking about, I don't know if that's the fungus or if that's the mushroom. Let me see. Oh, okay. There's fungus in this mushroom, and in this corner, there's a plant. Right here, that little bit of green that you can see there. And that is called Trillium. It's unique to North America, but it was carved in stone over the entrance of Roslyn Chapel before Columbus visited Mexico, America. So Roslyn Chapel is either an island or the British Isle. There's a lot of spiritual legends or myths that are really true. So let's see. This is a number 8. Sometimes I like to read exactly, so it's the words that I felt more comfortable with. So 8 is abundance, prosperity, infinity symbol. The infinite supports all you need. It's a sign of success to empower yourself, right? This whole radiation that I sent forward was to empower yourself. Let this number 8 boost your self-confidence, the energy flow of money, the flow of life and continuum, the balance of all infinite flow for all works in accord, seen and unseen. Now I'm wondering what all numbers would come to. If we have the number 7, which is prepare for your spiritual awakening, which is this time, which I've brought up before. Prepare for spiritual awakening, good fortune, good luck, synchronistic events on their side. Be open to the realm of divine wisdom watching over you and watching out for you. Your divine higher helpers are watching over you, assisting you, wanting you to know them and wanting you to let them in more and more just by commanding them in. Some of you, and I know I had a problem with this at first, how can you command the angels? How can you command God, Yeshua? Well, you're part of all that is and never was. You're part of the divine mind, and they are too. You're brethren with them, your brothers, sisters with them. You are part of their family, they're part of you. You're part of everything and all that there is, so you trust that truth. You be that truth, and you call and command them in. They want to know. They want your help exactly. That's good for me to remember too. So that's 7 and 8, which will equal 15, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, which equals 6, which also goes back to confront your opposite polarity, which is the release of negative energies and negative things in your life, which is what we're doing by all the systems collapsing, by all the junk that's being shown. It's kind of being shown in different storytelling, however heinous or uncomfortable it sounds, so that you can connect to your higher self, so that you can do anything you can accomplish to connect to your guides, that you can take accountability for your part in this whole scenario, and that you not need stay in the propaganda of fear and paranoia. I think this is a really good cards that really help us into, and accept the radiation, to be with it and bask in your certainty and your power, and to know that the universe has you and supports all your needs, and that we are in this not only together because they said so, but we're in it together because at the smallest subatomical level we are one. From infinite mind we are from. And negative, evil, dissonance, inharmony can be transmuted back to the infinite mind, where it will decide where the energy that is repurposed will go to. But you right now can take in that energy I've sent out to you to share for you, to be more grounded, more certain, step into power, be your power, and have fun, be gracious, and know that you are powered by the stars. Let's activate the power within. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. May you be bright and blessed and happy, and I'll see you next time. Oh, please like and subscribe and share this to anyone who you think might value. Bye-bye.